Good morning. It is day 59 of the Mississippi River Trail, where I, as a single mom, am paddling the Mississippi River from Minnesota all the way down to Louisiana with 7 of my 15 kids, and that happens to be one of them. She's joining us for the morning.
We're a family of 15 kids. One mom, and Smokey Bear.
And the 7 youngest of us are paddling the whole Mississippi River.
This is chaos made fun.
Come follow our adventure.
Hey, you want to tell people what's going to happen today? What are we doing today?
Going to our biggest lock and crossing the state line.
Oh yeah, what state line?
Missouri's state line.
Yep. Are you pretty excited?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, what did you have for breakfast?
Donuts.
Oh, well, what is in your hair?
Pudding.
Where'd the pudding come from?
From the donut.
Oh yeah. All right, you ready to go paddle? It's going to be a fun day, isn't it? All right. So there you have it. She is correct. Today we get Lock 19, which is Keokuk. It is known as the biggest lock on the entire Mississippi River. The biggest spanning dam is Lock 15, and that's why there's a museum there and a visitor center and that kind of stuff. The biggest lock, as far as what it can accommodate, the barge size, all that, is Lock 19. And today is Lock 19, which seemed like forever and a day away when you're up north. But we have officially made our way to Lock 19. So it's an exciting day. It's going to be epic. And it's huge. I don't think it's the size of a football field, but I've heard people talk about it being the equivalent of very, very large things. Not quite sure what. Really need to do some research on that. It might actually be the size of a football field. I am not sure. But I've heard that they don't even have to break barges up because it's so big that it just goes in. So we'll see. But that's really exciting. And in fact, Corey's so excited about it that he's only been able to paddle with us, I think, 3 times for driving support, because we have to work out river angels that can shuttle him back and forth to get back to the van. So today, Tim and Diana from last night offered. So we asked if they knew of anyone that would be willing to shuttle or of any river angels, and they just spoke up and said yes. So Corey is paddling out with us today, and then I think Diana is going to meet us in Keokuk and shuttle him back to the van here in Montrose. So very cool. And that means he gets to go through the lock with us today. So isn't that right? Is that right? You're paddling today, huh?
Yep.
Oh yeah, Lock 19.
Give you a break.
Oh yeah, I get a break out of it too. Yes, I do. It means I sit in the front and he does the heavy paddling and I can break, which is kind of good because my fingers didn't want to bend last night. So yeah, there's that. But this one does fine, but my right hand is my 4th finger, just doesn't want to work right now. So yeah, that's a little problematic. So anyway, he'll do the heavy paddling today while I sit in the front and am an assistant rower and not the primary rower. But that also means we have to switch up kids too. We will also be slack rowing, slack paddling, whatever, which means when you slack pack, you go without gear because you know you will be able to access it at the end of the day. And emergency wise, you have planned stops. So should anything go wrong, you have access to your gear. So we know that we will be to people and be able to see our gear at lunch. So that gives us the ability to slack it a little. So we'll go light today, which means we'll probably make better time too. And then, the Missouri state line. What you got? Very pretty. We have the Missouri state line. We will officially be out of Iowa. So the Des Moines River comes into the Mississippi, and the Des Moines River is the state line between Missouri and Iowa. So we are officially leaving Iowa today. It is still Illinois on the east side, but we will go on the west side from Iowa into Missouri. So very, very exciting. Another state line, which means I think it's 5 states, maybe. I have to calculate that one. Yeah, I'll figure that one out and tell you tonight. But I'm pretty sure this is the 5th state, maybe. Yeah, 5th. So anyway, it's going to be a good day. We had a very lovely evening in Montrose. Look at that lovely park. And it was so quiet except for the train. I actually camped because it is a very active track, but no trains went by yesterday. So I put my tent right by the track, and it did indeed go by last night. Oh, but we actually camped so close to the tracks, we remembered to put pennies out on the track. So the kids, actually one of my childhood memories that my dad did was we would go to Colorado for vacations, and the Colorado train that went through there, we laid pennies on the track and then would wake up in the morning and go check them. So I let the kids put pennies on the track last night, and those pennies in fact got run over 3 times. So twice in the middle of the night and one at 6 a.m. So anyway, and this is not a no horn ordinance county, no train horn. That it is not one of those. So it blew its horn every time it went by, right by my tent. So we were discussing in the boat yesterday how we had kind of been missing the sound of trains because I think we went like 2 nights without them, but we definitely made up for it last night. Yes, we did. So, all right, we're gonna go paddle out. We're gonna go to Lock 19 and we're gonna cross the state line. So let's go paddle.
Smokey's tip of the day. Smokey's tip of the day. Every click's a hooray.
Okay, here we go. This is going to be tip of the day. When you're in the wild and you have a van and you have went to a fish hatchery, which is out in the middle of nowheres, and you've put all your gear in the van, it might be a good idea not to lock the keys in the van. The other day, we pulled into a fish hatchery. It was out in the middle of nowheres. Well, amazing, the fish hatchery was closed. And we all got out. We were all excited to go see the fish hatchery. There was some places we could walk around and check it out. And as we all popped out, all of a sudden, I heard, oh no, turn around and look. And I was informed the keys were locked in the van. Well, it was kind of cold that night. That means all the gear, my coat, all I had was a short sleeve shirt on. So it took hours to get the van open. It was getting late. I was actually getting concerned about how I was cold. It was getting cold. I was getting real cold. I was getting concerned about how we were going to make it through the night with the cold and the moisture out there. But then suddenly we did have a river friend come out, brought out some tools to get the van open, and we got the van open, and we ended up successfully having a good night. Actually, the next morning, as usual, when I woke up, my tent was completely soaked from the dew. That's almost every morning out here. But when you're out in the wild, it's might be a good idea to go ahead and get an extra set of keys and put them up under the van or something with them, because when you lock your keys in the van out in the middle of nowheres, it's tough to get. You call a locksmith. Yeah, they want your bank account number. That's what they really want to do. And the other thing about that too is nowadays they've made these encrypted keys, so you can't go get an extra key made like we used to be able to do when we were younger for $5. Now they cost $400 to get a key made. It's outrageous. The car companies have done that. There's a lot of stuff like that that's outrageous. They have just made things so expensive for us out here in a lot of different ways. It's wild, but that's one of them that's a good example this morning. So I really don't want to get all crazy about locking the keys in the van because it wasn't tipping the canoe over. I mean, it's only locking the keys in the van. It's a problem, but it's not a real problem. It's just something that another bump in the road. I mean, on the way out, when we were headed out here, we had a flat tire on the trailer. That was in the middle of nowheres. So things like this here aren't really a major problem. It's something to go ahead and a bump in the road. You can get over the bump and keep going, or you can sit down in front of the bump and go, well, I failed. I mean, that's the simple truth of things in the wild. You can sit down and give up and go, well, I failed. Or you can continue over top of the bumps. You can continue through the rough times. There's been many other rough times out here other than keys locked in the van. That's just an issue. We've wet headwind. We almost got run over by a boat here a few days ago, a fast boat. Those are the ones you got to really watch out for. So what I'm really trying to say this morning, I guess, is, yeah, the keys got locked in the van for a second time. The first time, Corey took care of the keys. He got the van open himself. The second time, it was a little bit tougher. We were out in the middle of nowhere, so we had to find help. We had to find something. We don't have lockpicks with us. We didn't plan on that. So when you're out in the wild, pay attention to what you're doing. Keep up on top of things, and don't let setbacks bother you too bad. All it is a bump in the road. Again, just get over the bump. Figure it out and get over the bump. It's not really a big deal.
Get alerts when we release new episodes. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel.
Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel.
Once over of the Montrose campsite, where the trains sung us lullabies all night long. So my tent right here by the tracks. Yep, look, everything looks good. Oh, there it is. Pretty cool, huh?
Yes, Mom, a train ran over it.
Yes, it did.
I want to let a train run over this.
No, All right, my campsite, tent site looks good. Everybody else was congregated over here. B and C, everything looks good. Grisham and Galax were over there, so maybe Smokey right now. Smokey was over here. Not really sure how everybody was set up. So, oh, this was A. So B and C, A, Grisham, Galax. So, just a rock. But overall, all looks good. We are getting ready to paddle out. There goes the van. It is staying here for the day and then Corey will be brought back tonight, shuttled back to pick it up and to meet us after he paddles with us. So a very cool day. And look at this, the history. Oh, y'all look at this. This was way cool. This is the Mormon Trail. Can't believe I almost forgot this. See that tabernacle thing way over there? Way, that white thing right there. That is the Mormon tabernacle or something. But look at this. There used to be a ferry that ran across the river right here from Nauvoo to Montrose, and then the ferry is no more. And they teased that Nauvoo is waiting on Montrose to build a bridge and Montrose is waiting on them to build the bridge. But they do share fireworks every year because they're both small towns. So one year Nauvoo will do it and the next year Montrose will do it, and they each watch each other's. But look at the history here. The Latter-day Saint Exodus from Nauvoo, 1846. Oh yeah, here's a picture of it. Yep. That is that building over there. Look at that. The newly rebuilt Nauvoo Temple was dedicated on June 27th, 2002 and stands on the same ground as the original temple building. And basically, to sum up, we'll include pictures of this in the Facebook post, but to sum up, this is the Mormon Trail, and it's actually a thing, and you can actually hike, I think, or drive. Now, I'm pretty sure you hike it, the Mormon Trail. But that is where they all established and settled on that side of the river, and some continued on and ended up in Utah, and the Mormon Trail, I think, goes all the way to Utah. Y'all, look at that. The history here is crazy.
Oh, Mom, look.
Yeah, look. And the Mormon Pioneer, yeah, Sugar Creek, and then here we are on Montrose.
Mom, look.
And then Missouri down here, which we will cross today.
Yeah, look. That's
oh, yep,
that.
There it is.
Yeah, that's that.
Yep.
Way over there.
There it is. And then over here, Fort Des Moines, 34 to 37. And then it goes in, we'll also include a picture of this in the Facebook post. But y'all, the history here. And the people we met last night, the whole crew was so full of history and a wealth of info. So I love history here. I absolutely love it. But very cool. And this is the memorial. The barracks well marks the first Fort Des Moines and was used by a detachment of dragoons stationed here, 1834 to 1837. Okay, so this is Pepin. Everyone said that this curve up here, all the way back there, they call it Death Alley. So we are currently traversing the local Death Alley on a beautiful, beautiful day. It's much like Pepin. DNR, everyone said Pepin was brutal and claims lives. But if you pick it on the correct day, low wind, beautiful day, it is a non-issue. So a lot of our journey is common sense, people. Be smart, be wise, educate yourself, research, use your charts, use your maps, look at the forecast and the weather, and be smart about it. And here we are on Death Alley, and just, it's a beautiful day.
It works every time.
All right, here it comes. See if y'all can get him to honk. Yeah.
Oh, that fishing pole. That fishing pole is mine.
Oh, he's excited. He going after something? Here, wait, y'all be quiet. See if I can catch it. I have no idea if the microphone will pick that up, but that is the sound of like 1,000 birds. And that is either, these are the strange things you pass on the river, but that is either a recording on a speaker being played to attract birds, or there's that many birds in that gray house, almost acting like some kind of bird breeding house or something. I am not sure, but that is very interesting.
They're in the forest.
Never in my life have I seen something like that. They're definitely speakers, but there's like this house buried back there, like some kind of mobile home type of thing. That is weird. Look how beautiful this day is. That looks like a calendar out of a 1950s Dick and Jane children's book. That looks exactly like all the golden books that we used to read. Whoa. Look at that. He made his own beach. That is such a cool place. Look how small the house is. That's so perfect. It's like a glorified tiny home. So an interesting thing about where we are in the river right now is we have no islands. We'll be coming into some more later on today, but for the last 100 or so miles, we have had so many islands and sloughs and chutes and so many different ways we can get down the Mississippi. Some days we take the channel, some days we take the sloughs, one day we took the chute. There's so many ways to get down the river. And so if you want away from the channel, you can go into a slough or a chute. But if you feel like riding the channel and seeing if there might be some current, you can ride the channel. And then the sloughs also sort of kind of offer some protection from the wind, but not much. But it gets you out of the traffic, especially like yesterday they had a fishing tournament out of Fort Madison. Huge, maybe bass tournament, I'm not sure. And the marina was packed. So we noticed some boats up further north of it, but not many. But it allows you in that kind of boat traffic with speed boats, fishing boats, that kind of stuff. When you have sloughs, you can take sloughs and kind of stay out of the main drag. Although a lot of boats, fishing boats especially, take the sloughs because they fish there. So it's just kind of whatever your mood is for the day. But this portion of the river is a lot like Pepin. And the wind, even though it was predicted to be super low today and little to no wind, it just said variable. The wind is crazy out here, which is what the locals said it would be. And it's because of how it's funneled through the bluffs. So a lot like Pepin, because you will see the bluffs all around. And they channel the wind and funnel it to where it creates windier conditions on the river than there is on dry land. So while they said light and variable winds today, the wind out here is probably a good 15 miles an hour. And some pretty good waves going. No white caps, but pretty good waves. So we left our gear in the van today knowing that we would get back to it at midday. So Smokey's boat is super light. He has nothing in the boat with him actually, so he's having a super hard time controlling it because he is unevenly distributed. He's facing today what I faced at Bemidji our first day, where the front of his boat is way too light and it whips him around in the wind. But I think he went based on the forecast that it was no wind today, or little to none, and we are in very windy conditions. But very cool though, no islands at all for wind breaks. Oh, a lot of when you have islands, there's lots of wind breaks too. They actually offer some protection. But out here, no islands and only bluffs. And you can see how it kind of curves around, and there's lots of bends in the river through here. So when you have a bend, it funnels the wind and becomes very concentrated. But it's a beautiful area, I will say that much. Very pretty. And I think after the lock and maybe the state line, we'll come back into some island territories and submerged islands and things like that. But for now, the river is very just wide open.
Lock 19, we're a group of 4 canoes and we left the pass through. Just stand by.
He says stand by? Oh yeah.
Gee, lock 19, did you catch that? They said they're going to be locking down there.
He's talking about us.
I know, I couldn't read him. I'm outside with his boat. When I see him down here in the forebay, I'll talk to him.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that was actually a new one. That was pretty cool. The marina over here, back behind us, actually radioed Lock 19 and let them know that we were headed that direction. Although he called us kayaks and not canoes, but we're canoes. Anyway, he let Lock 19 know. We have done some research on Lock 19. It is the size of 3 football fields. So when I said it was the size of 1 football field this morning and how that couldn't be possible, it is not only possible, it is the size of 3 football fields. So very, very cool. It is massive in nature. It is very, very large. So, and those are the swells of the tug that just went by. So, and it was very much a tug and not a tow. But anyway, Lock 19 is massive. We have it in sight now, and it is significant in nature. What looks like just part of the river is actually the lock itself. So yes, we are going into a water chamber the size, or well, over the size of 3 football fields. That is pretty cool. Oh, and the drop for this is 38 feet. It will be our biggest drop on the entire river. Lock 1 was the second, and it was 36 feet. That is the old power plant, which is a really cool building, like really cool. Up here is the lock. So, and they have like a protective wall around the power building, which is pretty cool. But somewhere up here, we can see the wall of the lock and the building. So we're headed that way. But this entire area is not the lock. This is the hydro plant. And I'm not really sure if it's still, whoa, that's a big fish. That's a big old fish.
Jumping cut.
Really not sure. They still use. Oh, okay. Yep, got my carp. Alright, that means one is coming out, so we should hang to the right. This is a whole new element because as we get here, we're having to figure out where to go as well. And a horn blew, which means one will probably exit or it was ready for one to enter on the other side. I'm not sure, but it is a large area. So we are going to figure out where to go. Alright, we're currently outside Lock 19 and they are working on a barge right now. In fact, it was the one that went by us this morning before we left camp. So they're working on a barge and said it would be 45 minutes to 1 hour from when we were back there. So that was probably like 15 or 20 minutes ago. So anyway, working on that now. He said he'd let us know when they're ready. So very cool. We're just gonna chill, bathroom break, fishing break. A little sunny. Yeah, definitely. That is such a cool building. That's like the White Mill building in Danville, and they finally did something with it. And they're mostly apartments, and the whole lower floor is retail. That would make a beautiful building. I'd live there. I would live in an apartment with windows like that up on the top, floor to ceiling. What'd you find?
I found a button from way back in the day.
Oh yeah, the dude last night said it's really cool when you find the button blanks or old buttons, and he said it was possible to find them. So we've been finding lots of shells with the button cutouts, but no actual buttons. And Midnight Oatmeal actually found a button.
I was the first one to find it.
Very, very cool. Look at that button. All right, they blew the whistle, the light is green, it is time to go.
Dropping 39 feet, a million gallons per foot, so it's 39 million gallons of water. Dropping out.
39 million gallons of water. And here we go.
Oh, well, it is just moving with us. Yes, it is. Lock 1 was like 36, I think, and this is 38. There's the current too. Do you see the current coming out of here? That is crazy. Look at that. That is a 38-foot drop. It's very large. And the current going out of this thing is very large as well. Alright. That is our sound. We are good to go. That was our total drop. one we saw in Lock 9. Alright, so the municipal workers down there removing the boat ramp for winter said that this is all corn processing, all of this. And they are in the middle of their peak season. So they are going full steam ahead. They're in their peak of production or processing. So all these trains come loaded in with grain for corn. All of those cars are loaded with corn. And this, from here all the way over to there, is corn processing trains. And then they have a barge loading station down there where that train is. I think the barges unload down there because they have so many docking stations for the barges. And then the trains maybe do short hauls over here. I'm not real sure. But there's many tracks right there. Sets of tracks. And yeah, so I think it's unloaded off the barge and the trains just pull it back and forth. Enough to dump your boat out?
So look, I can throw my thing out for a catfish?
Sure. I go ahead and get it out and just dump it. So Galax was moving around too much in the boat. He typically doesn't ride in their boat. And he tipped them. So that is how much water they took on. And they've already, they've already gotten a lot out. So we pulled over on the Missouri state line to empty the boat. There we have it. We are officially on the state line. Iowa, Missouri, and over on this side, on the other side of this island is Illinois. But the state line actually comes out that river and ends right here. So we are officially sitting on the state line. So next state up, one more state down.
Missouri!
We have reached our campsite, which is actually permitted camping. This is a really cool little place in Warsaw. And look at this, it's so busy. But look how the river feeds in right here into a little pond. Look at that. And y'all, just for scale, and so y'all can see, look how low the water level is. Right over there, up there is where it typically is. And that's how low it is. So like 19 said, there would be current today. The dam was flowing and we should have current, and there was zero current. And I'm talking like none. But look how busy this place is. And a dude came over and told Smokey that they are commercial sturgeon fishermen. And the website said you'll catch a lot of large gar here. And just for the record, when we were paddling in, right before the boat ramp, look, they're coming and going over here too. There's boats everywhere. But while we were paddling in, right before the boat ramp, there was a fish so large that we've all pretty much decided it was Peppy. But it was a fish the size of Baxter. And Baxter is 90 pounds and a fairly tall shepherd. And the fish was massive. It kind of looked like a whale. It jumped out of the water and I caught a glimpse of it before it went back in. I caught the glimpse of the side of it. And it went back in and it was so large, it splashed me inside the boat, splashed Opie, and our boat started rocking a little bit. So nothing to tip us over, but it was definitely rocking from the splash. So there are very, very large fish in this water, and it's kind of cool. So I don't want any of them in the boat with me, just for the record, but it is very cool. And that over there is camping for RVs. It has power, like electric, and all kinds of hookups and everything. That's pretty cool. We are going to camp over here on this side. So plenty of grassy space and space over there, and it says it welcomes campers of all types. So that would be us. I see it. What is it? Is it the same thing? Is it the same kind?
Dude, I heard the jingling, but I just like didn't even think about it.
Is it what?
I heard the jingling. Oh, this is a sheephead or a drum, whatever. Dude,
A drum?
The jingling of the bell, and I like didn't even think about it. And Lily told me that.
Oh, Mom, the
That's cool. Oh yeah.
I don't know if you're supposed to hold them by the mouth.
There it is. Good boy.
Yay.
Nice job.
Thank you.
On the support vehicle note, I have a love-hate relationship with a support vehicle. because we do become a little dependent on vehicle access, so it takes away the spontaneity of island camping. However, when doing a trail, lots and lots of people ask, how do we do this? How do we make it work? Especially with the older 8 missing. I made a comment on an interview today where it says the biggest challenge is keeping morale up. Right now, that is very much the truth, because the youngest 7 very much miss the oldest 8. And you get homesick. It's just part of it. So the original plan was to send the support vehicle home 2 to 4 weeks into this trail. Once we worked out the kinks, we saw what would work, what didn't, had kayaks to send home, because we all know how that went, and now we're in 4 canoes. So things like that. However, it has proved very, very beneficial. It is not the way most people do this trail at all. Most people get out on a trail and they will through hike, through paddle, and there's all kinds of different ways to do it. Some people that hike the AT have support vehicles that travel with them. Some, we learned, actually have RVs that their spouses drive, and they sleep in an RV every night, but yet they are through hiking. That was news to me when we first got out there, but we just stealthed all the way up there. But there are many, many different ways to do a trail. We realized a little bit into this journey that the support vehicle is proactive. Should anything go wrong, anybody get sick, whatever, it does not make us dependent on other people to get us to the help that we need. But the other aspect of it is it gives the kids something to look forward to. It is very much something that it can run to Walmart. Corey can do laundry during the day, so we don't have to stop and take the time to do laundry, which is an entire zero just to get laundry done. Or he can show up at camp at night with surprises. So root beer is a huge surprise. Ice cream doesn't stay good, so we haven't really done that. But little things, cookies are a huge surprise. Motivators that keep them moving. So when it comes down to it, we decided not to send the support vehicle home because it is such a huge booster to everybody's spirits to know that there is some sort of reward. Not that you need to reward your kids with food, but there is some sort of something to look forward to at the end of every day, whether it means a trip into town or just as simple as flavored waters, root beer, whatever, or the ability to go to the museums and do the things we do. Had we not had a support vehicle, we would never be able to do half of the stuff we've done, being able to go into the towns to see the culture, the history, the science, all the things these places have to offer. So that is a huge, huge thing that convinced me the support vehicle is a very, very good thing to have. So right now, just tonight, if you'll look, oh, look at that sunset. If you'll look across the little pond, which is very creative actually, Corey and Smokey were able to go to Walmart with and I think a few others went, to get the fun stuff. So we are eating a very good dinner. It also enables them to eat very well. When you do extreme things like this, you stay very hungry and you will still lose weight. And the kids' growth and all that, there's been concerns expressed about that. So just from other people that ask, how do you keep them fed? So it enables good food, more than ramen with pepperoni. And yes, we do eat that. More than mashed potatoes with bacon bits. Yes, we do eat that. But it enables those things like chicken. Like tonight, we're having rotisserie chicken. And we're able to add in vegetables, protein, things like that because of a support vehicle. So that aspect is very cool and very beneficial. And for that reason, we have decided not to send the support vehicle home because it is such an integral part of our journey and enabling the education aspect, but also keeping the morale up and everybody's spirits high to keep us moving forward. Because I think if we lost it at this point, it would just plummet. It would make us dependent on the river, the fun would be taken out of it, and it would become drudgery. So important things to note as they get asked all the time, how do you do it? How are your kids on trail? Do they just want to do these things? So it's things like that. And running a support vehicle is very minimal financially. At home, we would be spending easily 2 tanks of gas a week just running and doing and going like we always do. Field trips, we are very, very active. But being out here, the van goes from, I would say trailhead to trailhead. It's boat ramp to boat ramp out here. So the van goes from boat ramp to boat ramp and doesn't really do a lot of stuff. It doesn't run around. It doesn't use up a lot of gas. It just goes from point A to point B to meet us, and then usually that's lunch, and then point B to point C for dinner, and then we're done for the day. So cost-wise, it is very minimal to keep it out here and has proven to be a massive benefit. So anyway, they're a little bit excited because we have rotisserie chicken for dinner and some vegetables. I think they got salad and stuff, and we're having a big dinner tonight at a very, very beautiful setting. So it's a good night. All right, tell us exactly what is happening over there.
Alright,
so what they're gonna do, they're gonna, over there on the fire, firefighters, they set the car on fire because they have fake mannequins, and they put it in the cars. And then after all the cars set on fire, they're gonna call out the team, and then they're gonna go out and get the mannequins before the mannequin catches on fire. So yeah, it's pretty much like training.
All right, so we looked up tonight and the entire fire department and all of its volunteers descended upon our little campground. And you can see their silhouettes right there. And they are currently, they were very, very focused and had a spotlight on one specific truck. So my kids, after seeing it wasn't an emergency, got curious and started asking questions. And they are actually over there setting a whole line of cars on fire. And they have mannequins in the cars, and it is training to see if they can get the mannequins out before they actually burn up. So yes, there are active fires going on over there on a whole line of cars. And there are many cars lined up to set on fire. So in 20 years of public safety and having been married to public safety for 20 years, yes, they do training at night. Ours was never volunteer, it was paid. But yes, they do training at night. Yes, they do extensive training. But I've never actually seen this in action. Oh, they're pulling out the hose. The kids and I did attend one training event at one point where we actually watched them burn an old dilapidated house for training purposes, and we were allowed to watch. So, oh, well, there it goes. But you will hear huge explosions of the tires popping. It sounds like a massive explosion, and it's a tire popping. Side note here, as we have fires going over here, going on the left, we have a barge over there on the right. So actually we passed no barges today. We have passed none. The last few days have been very void of barges. We did not pass one singular barge today, nor did we pass any yesterday. Although we have noticed too that barge traffic is actually increased at nighttime, and I really don't know why. If any of y'all are watching and know why barges tend to operate at night rather than during the day, feel free to let us know.
I'm pretty sure they're taking the fire out.
More barges go by during, like at nighttime, than they ever do during the day. They passed us last night while we were tenting, but yet none passed today. So, oh, they have done extinguished the fire.